city of Pascagoula, and I appreciate you guys coming out and attending the press conference today. Wanted to make a few comments about the release of the state auditor's report on the investigation that's been conducted on the mismanagement of funds for the city of Pascagoula. This has been a long, drawn-out investigation. I'm glad for the city of Pascagoula that it's come to a conclusion. On behalf of the city council and administration, I want to thank State Auditor Shad White, District Attorney Angel Myers McGrath, the FBI, and associated legal authorities and their staffs for conducting a thorough investigation into the fiscal crisis this administration discovered and promptly reported in July of 2018 when a formal complaint was filed by city officials. I also want to thank the Jackson County Grand Jury for their consideration and diligent work on this matter, giving the facts and circumstances a fair hearing. I know that wasn't an easy task, and I appreciate their hard work and appreciate them trying to dissect that stuff to come out with a conclusion. Collectively, we are glad to see this investigation conclude, and those responsible for the mismanagement of our tax dollars will be held accountable. We are also happy that the city will be able to recoup those funds lost as a result of the mismanagement by the previous administration through civil penalties, some $31,500 in lost interest owed to the city. As stated by State Auditor, the mismanagement of funds gave this administration the illusion a budget surplus when in fact a budget deficit existed. Because of that, this council and this administration, when we took office, was given documents that now we know were inaccurate. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my colleagues on the city council for their integrity and ethical approach to this matter, as well as the city staff for their honesty and work in the face of such trying times. I just don't have the words to express to the city staff that we have here, and maybe a couple of them that aren't with us right now, but that were the real leaders who helped not only uncover this, but helped us fix it in record time. So, city staff and the council should be commended, and I do commend them. Make no mistake, the challenges still remain as the city recovers from this unfortunate episode in our history. But this city council and administration are committed to staying the course and righting the ship. We have taken the steps necessary to ensure our city will financially and legally be healthier as a result of our efforts, and we are happy to say that Pascagoula is in better shape today than when we received it. I'll be glad to answer any questions, to talk about specifics if you guys have any. And with me I have Councilman Burrows, who I'd like to offer an opportunity to say a few words as well.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. To borrow a phrase from Winston Churchill, this is not the end, but it is definitely the end of the beginning. And the repercussions from the events outlined in both the forensic audit done by the city on its own initiative, as well as the state auditor's report. The repercussions from the events outlined in those two audits are going to continue on for months and most likely even years. But I think what this council and our staff have been able to accomplish in the last 12 months is nothing short of astonishing. We've had to make some severe budget cuts. We've had to make some drastic reductions in force, both with closing positions and in letting certain longtime employees go. But unfortunately, we had a responsibility to the city and to the taxpayers in order to see that happen. And also, it has necessitated the largest tax increase in the history of our city. And that's a tax increase that everyone on this council has promised to see reduced once the crisis has been averted. And I think we're well on our way to doing that. And certainly before the end of my term, I want to see us back on the path to prosperity. There's two things I'd like to say. First of all, I want to thank all the cities, both within the county and on the Gulf Coast, who have extended words of encouragement and support to us throughout this difficult time. And your encouragement and that support has been welcome, not only in terms of morale, but in terms of helping us find our path back to prosperity through this crisis. I want to in particular thank Jackson County, both the elected officials and the staff there who have helped us tremendously in terms of in-kind services that have been offered and furnished that avoided us having to spend taxpayer dollars to provide certain basic functions such as drainage improvements, road servicing, and so forth. So again, I want to thank the supervisors and staff for Jackson County. And the one other thing I would like to comment on is there is a statement in the state auditor's press release that says that we are in the process of unwinding the bond funds from the general fund. I want to correct, I'm sure that's an inadvertent omission. The bond funds were extricated from the general fund within days after the forensic audit report was given to the city council. What we're in the process of doing that will be accomplished on September of 2019 is a complete replenishment of all the bond funds which we have had to borrow and in part raise taxes to achieve. And we expect to see that accomplished again by the end of September 2019. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I want to say certainly thank you to the county and the other cities. A lot of encouragement there, a lot of resources offered to us, and so we appreciate all those guys. I also want to thank the city manager, Ryan Frederick, and assistant city manager, Frank Porter. These guys are like us. We get a lot of blame. They get a lot of blame for things that they didn't do. Obviously, the report speaks for itself, and the dates outlined there does not include anyone from this administration. However, what I want to say is these guys, I was here working with them day in and day out with the city staff, and they did a yeoman's job. And so on behalf of the council, we want to say thank you, because you guys not only, when we found it, pulled it together, made some tough decisions, and did what you needed to do to save your hometown. So I want to personally say thank you. And I'll be glad to take questions now if you guys have any.
So where does it stand now with the $14 million deficit? Can you kind of tell me how that ties in, if it does at all?
Well, the deficit is shored up now, and I think we're probably somewhere around five behind.
I'd say less than that.
Less than $5 million left to pay, and if I'm not mistaken, we should walk into this next budget year almost solid.
Solid.
And we've done that in less than a year. In fact, the state auditor's office has commented on using ours as a model with some of the other cities, because we took those kind of corrective actions that showed we were doing what we needed to do to get it done. And I'm proud of the staff for that kind of work. It really shined with the state officials.
Do you expect any more of this kind of stuff to come about, or is this kind of the final thing with that forensic report?
No, I think unless there's some drama from the people that they found to be responsible for it. As far as we're concerned, we're concluded. We have the results. Like I said, a lot of people out there blamed us for this. This clearly exonerates us. None of us were even here during that time, and you'll probably still hear the naysayers say that we're to blame, and there's nothing you can do to change that. I mean, those people are just not going to support the city in any shape, form, or fashion, and they're going to keep beating it down. Those people who know and understand what this auditor's report about is pretty clear on who is held responsible. Okay, thank you. Appreciate y'all coming out.